Now this is the basic way how we differentiate this waterfall methodology and agile methodology. So what you are doing in the first day, you are going to be collecting all this information from the customers where you are performing some workshop sessions, right? Now the first phase is your design phase. So in design phase, you need to conduct workshops and collect all those requirements. You need to gather all the requirements, right? Once you gather all the requirements, you will have to interact with the customers, right? There will be a proper stakeholders and there will be a product owners. So all these part of your design process. Do you agree with me? In the first phase, which is a design phase, where you will have to conduct some workshop sessions and where you will have to interact with your stakeholders and product owners. Who is your product owners and who is your stakeholders in level 1 model building activity? The one which you build for this unicorn candy company. Who are the stakeholders?
CFO and product planner.
CFO and product planner, right? So for that product planner, you gathered some requirements, right? As a product planner, they want each and every product expenses, each and every product cost price. If they increase 5% of the product cost price, how much revenue would be increasing? If they increase 2% of the cost price, how much cost does the product cost will be incurred? So that's the requirement of product owner, right? As a CFO, what was the requirements from the CFO side? He wants to know the total headcount for the company and employee expenses by department wise, and he wants to know the profit or loss reports by the country wise and the product family wise. Correct?
Yes.
So all these sessions, all these requirements, when we collect all these requirements, we need to conduct one workshop session where you will have to interact with your stakeholders. From that part, you will be getting all these requirements. Is that clear? So all this is your designing processes, the where you need to designing the entire model. I told you on the day front to back design, right? So the front to back design will be happening on this particular workshop session day. That is your design phase. Any questions on this design phase? When I say designing the activity, you'll create a model map. So how to from where do I start this model building? Which lists are going to be creating? What would be my time dimension? What are the different kinds of versions which I need to create? So should I create hierarchy list or composite list or flat list or number list? All these are part of your model map creation. Okay, when I say designing, you keep in your mind we will have to create the model map. Okay. Now in this particular diagram, what you will do is based on the requirement, you will say what are the functionalities that are prioritized. What are the functionalities that are prioritized needs to be built first. Okay, so in this design phase itself, we are deciding that what are the functions which we need to build first, what are the functions which we need to build last. So here in the design phase itself, we are prioritizing these different kinds of functionalities. You might be asking a question, what are the functionalities? So functionalities are nothing but your requirements. Okay, so in real time, they keep on asking you, what is your functional? What is your functionalities? What is the functional data? There might be asking you different scenarios, but keep in your mind, functionalities are nothing but your requirements. It's a set of process. So how you are gathering these requirements. Okay, all this is your functional aspects. Okay, once you prioritize this requirement, you start building, right? Suppose you have 100 activities needs to be performed. Okay, suppose you will have 100 activities needs to perform. Now 10 activities in each sprint. Oh, I'm sorry. So you will suppose you will have 100 activities needs to be performing, right? So you will try to divide those activities into sprints. So you might ask me a question, what is a sprint? sprint is nothing but you are dividing the activities by some portion. Let's say you are having 100 activities. Now I am going to be dividing this 100 activities into 10 parts. Why I am dividing this 100 activities? Because if you are keep on working on this 100 activities at one time, so you are not prioritizing that requirement. So which requirements are needs to give in the first, and which requirements are needs to give the deliver the last time. So to prioritize that, we will have to separate in different sprints. Sprint 1, we need to deliver 10 activities, and sprint 2, we need to deliver in another 10 activities. Like that, we need to follow the sprint wise. Is that okay? Is that clear?
Yeah.
So I'm repeating once again. Suppose you will have 100 activities. So these 100 activities needs to be delivered to your client. So which activities will be delivered the first time, the first phase, and which activities will be delivering the last time? I mean to say last phase. So to divide that, so you will have to prioritize all these 100 activities, right? So once you prioritize, the first priority will goes to these 10 activities. So all these 10 activities will be releasing in sprint 1. Okay, the entire even level 2 curriculum as designed in sprint basis. That is the reason I'm saying sprint wise. Why we are dividing this sprint phase? Because there are some hundred or thousands of activities are there which we need to performing. So depending on the requirements, depending on the what we call prioritization, we need to separate all these activities into sprint wise. In sprint 1, we need to deliver the priority requirements. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, my quick question for you. We are having 100 activities. Each sprint will be having 10 activities. Now, how many sprints we need to release?
10.
10 sprints, right?
Yes.
So, the sprint 1 will be having the major priorities activities. And the sprint 2 is, so the prioritization is going to be reducing from sprint 1 to sprint 10. So that sprint 10 is least priority activities which we need to deliver the client. Correct?
Correct. Okay.
Any questions on it for this sprint session? Why I am going to be dividing this sprint basis?
So you mean to say that all the major prioritized things will be kept in the first activities, sprint 1 activities, and the later on it continues.
Absolutely. See,
Right?
because yes, absolutely correct. Because we are having 100 activities, 100 requirements. So now there is a series of workshop sessions, right? And that workshop sessions we gathered 100 activities, 100 requirements. Now immediately you will be having a quick question. You need to ask your client. So, yes, therefore we are having the 100 requirements. 100 requirements we gather from your people, right? Now, which requirements you need to get the first? You need to ask them. So, what is your first priority? So, there are 100 activities. Which one is you want to get first? So, otherwise, if they don't say which activity is giving the first one, so which requirements which you need to deliver the first?
Yeah.
There is a confusion, right? So once you
Yeah.
deliver one activity, the customer or the stakeholder is coming to you and asking you, hey, why did you create this? Why did you deliver this at this point of time? We just need this. We just need some other requirement. This is not my priority at this point of time. So you'll have to deliver some other activities, right? They might ask you like these questions. So that is the reason you'll have to ask them in the workshop session itself. Can you please provide me the prioritization of each and every activity? So the client or the end user will gives you the priority of each and every activity. Okay. So according to sprint prioritization, you need to start working on the sprints. So you need to start working on the prioritization of the activities. Clear? Now there will be a 10 sprints. Each sprint will have a 10 functionalities. And for that 10 functionalities, how many dashboards we need to create? A quick question for you. There will be 10 sprints. Each sprint will have 10 functionalities or 10 requirements. Now for this 10 requirements, how many user experience pages which we need to build? let's say these all are going to be sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, right? Now within this sprint 1, we are having 10 requirements. These 10 requirements as dividing and delivering into sprint 1, right? Now for these 10 functionalities or these 10 requirements, how many dashboards or how many user experience pages we need to build?
1.
10.
How many, Vaswaras?
1.
Don't get confused. User experience pages. I'm asking you user experience pages. There is 10 requirements are there. Vamsi?
10, sir.
10 user experience pages we need to build, because for each and every requirement we need to show them some page. Let's say there is one requirement, I want to see the forecasting of my sales by product wise by geography. This is my requirement. For this requirement I need to create one user experience page, right? And there is one more requirement, that is, so what if my sales percentage is increasing 5%, then how much cost price will be increasing? That is other requirement. So for that other requirement, we need to create another user experience page. Make sense? Or do you want to continue with the same user experience page which we built in the earlier? Guys, is this okay? Yeah, we are discussing something about the differences between waterfall method and agile methodology. Okay, so the background of this waterfall technique and the background of agile methodology we are discussing. Okay, so the day one, how the day one is starting with your project. Once you started the project, where you need to get some legal or compliance permissions from the customer, that is RFP, request for proposal. Once you get the project from the customer, then you start building. So as part of starting with the building, you need to conduct some workshops. Why we are conducting workshops? Because we need to gather all these requirements. So once you get these 100 requirements, then which requirements will you deliver the first? So for that prioritization, you need to dividing in sprint level. Sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, based on that prioritization, right?
Yeah.
Now, each sprint will be having 10 requirements or 10 functionalities. Now, for this sprint 1, we'll be having 10 user experience pages which we need to build. Correct? Now, once you build this sprint 1, now after completion of the sprint 1, you need to validate this data, whatever you build in the sprint 1. You need to validate. Now, see, the entire process is going to keep on rotating. But let me complete first step of after completion of the sprint 1. You need to validate whatever you build in this sprint 1, right? And this validation is depending on the two steps. The step 1 is functional validation, and the second one is it's going to be technical aspect. So I didn't mention here. The one is going to be functional validation, and the other one is technical validation. So what is the meaning of this functional validation? So the functional validation is the requirements validation. So we gathered all hundreds or 10. So within this sprint 1, we gathered 10 requirements. Guys, all of you following, or anyone is getting confusing?
Clear.
Clear?
Yes.
Basu?
Yes, sir.
Basu, are you following?
Yeah, clear.
I'm telling in high level view. Since this is day one, what is happening in the real time? That's the reason I'm telling you in high level picture. Okay, once we'll start this level 2 data hub model, we will go very granular level. To go that granular level, we will be having a high level view for this level 2. So that is what we are discussing something about today. Okay, and this test is the very introduction session for your entire level 2. Okay. Is it clear what we are discussing something?
Yes, we know.
Shrestha, is it okay? Yeah, I don't know if she is available or not. Okay, let's come back to our topic. The validation part is going to be taking place in two aspects. The one is functional testing or the functional validation, and the second one is technical validation. The functional validation is whatever the requirements which we gathered, all those requirements are properly collected, all those requirements are exactly same or not. Let's say we collected the requirements. The requirement is I want to forecast the sales by product by geography. This is the requirement. So for this requirement, I collected instead sales by product by geography. I collected sales by product by time. So that is in such a way we need to validate all these functions, whether we collected all these functional in a proper way or not. So that's the way we need to testing the first phase, which is functional aspects. Is that clear? 5-year testing in the functional or all the requirements.
Yeah.
Okay, and the second testing is technical aspects. See, technical aspects is it is purely technical model building activities. Okay, so how we build this model, whether we gather all these requirements, we started to building on this creation of time dimension, creation of versions, and creation of different types of list, and all this part of your technical validation. Should we create the time is properly or adhere to best practices of Anaplan or not? Correct. So this is your technical aspects. I'm just giving you the overview of this Anaplan level 2. So this is the web where our Anaplan journey will starts. Okay, the first step, for the first step, what is happening in the first step? In the first step, we design all these model building activities, the front to back approach. Once we design, where we need to conduct some workshops and gather all these requirements and dividing into different sprint level. Once we dividing into sprint level based on this prioritization, we build in sprints. Once we build all these requirements, we need to validate. The validation is going to be taking place in two aspects. The one is functional aspects, and the second one is technical aspects. As functional aspects, did we collect all these requirements or proper manner or not? Right? And the technical aspects, did we build this model in correct way or best practices of Anaplan or not? That's what exactly we need to test in the validation stage, right? And within this validation stage, our purpose is, as we are the model builder, we need to validate these functional and technical aspects, and then the user training will be taking place. So it's not getting user training, the UAT will be taking place, right? And these two steps are going to be interchanging. You just go and train the user what we build, how we build. Are you following, guys? I'm not sure whether you are following or not.
Following,
All of you.
Yes.
Chandu?
Yes, Venu.
Okay. Now, once we build this functional and the technical aspects, we just train the user what we build in this model, what we collected in the requirements part. Then we just have to train the user about the functionality, how you people will be using these functions, how you people will be use these features. Features in the sense the features are available in the Anaplan. So especially, let's say we discussed something about input modules in Disco practices, right? Input modules where the end user will interact with the dashboard section or user experience sections, where the people will give some inputs. The rest of the calculation part will be automatically calculated in backend. So in such a way, we created some calculation modules, correct? So
Yeah.
that regarding that input modules, we need to train the users. If you give some inputs, if you give 10% incremental or here, then the reflection would be the backend process. So the calculation modules we have been created, and accordingly you will get the data, you will get the required data. So in such a way, we need to train the users. So about the features. Okay, once the user training is completed, and then we need to perform the UAT or SIT. UAT means user acceptance testing, and SIT is system integration testing. Have you heard about this word UAT and SIT?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
UAT means user will go user will go into the application and then they will start testing. They will see the required outcome. The required outcome is coming accurately or not, right? So what exactly user is doing? User is interacting with this particular user experience pages, and they go and check the data, whether all the data is coming accurately or not, whether the all data is correctly rightly calculated or not. Is that all data is calculated? The calculated data which we are showing in this user experience pages, that is that is good, or something is bad, something is wrong numbers I'm showing. So in such a way they need to test. So that is part of your user acceptance testing. In simple way, I can say user will go into the application and then they will start testing. The testing is they will see the required outcome. The required outcome is coming or not. Whatever the required information the user wants, the specific information is showing into this user experience or not. That's the way the user is trying to test these user experience pages. And this is part of your UAT. Here, user in the sense our stakeholder, our major Anaplan stakeholders. Is it clear, UAT? Or you want me to get more explanation about this UAT?
Can you be little more clear, Venu?
Yeah. Let's say this is my UAT. Let's assume that this is my requirement. This is financial year 2021 actuals and past data, current year data, and future forecasting year data. Right? And this forecasting year data, actually the client is getting, the client wants to get, let's say 20 and 30. And here 30 and 40. And this is the client requirement. So accordingly, we build this in Anaplan. So now after building and delivering this requirement to our client, the clients will interact into this particular user experience page, and they can check this 20 is did I give this 20, or did this 20 as being given by the model builder. So in such a way they need to test this 20. Who wants this 20? This 20 is required. This 20 requirement is from stakeholder. This 20 is expecting from the stakeholders. Is this 20? Actually, this would be 20, but unfortunately, as part of some calculation missings, this part is 15. The requirement is 20. The forecasting numbers are 20, but unfortunately, due to some calculation missings, we got this 15. We are showing 15, and the client is asking you, no, we are expecting this 20. You are doing some miscalculation into your Anaplan. That is the reason you are showing 15. But we are expecting this 20. But unfortunately, you are showing this 15. So this is the way where your user acceptance testing will be taking place. Oh, Mama, is that clear? Sheshta?
Yes.
So basically, the user acceptance testing is they're expecting some figures. If you deliver the same figures, then good. Okay. In case if you deliver the expected other than this expected numbers, then the client will ask you, these are the numbers which I am not expecting.
I mean, data should match. Our data should match the client data.
Absolutely. Whatever the data the client is shared with us, the same data we should reflect it into our dashboards. Okay. So the same forecasted data, they will maintain on their own system. Let's say that is their own Excel. All this data they maintain on their Excel. Once we showing this data into user experience pages, they will cross-check with their Excel and these user experience pages. If there are any mismatches, they come to us and asking you why this mismatch is happening. So is there any calculations are missing, or do you really get this data from our people, or is there any missing data is happening? So in such a way, the people are testing.
Okay.
Any questions on it? Guys, is that clear?
Yes.
Clear, Venu?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now, there is another type of testing is system integration testing. right? What is the meaning of the system integration testing? Any idea about the system integration testing or SIT?
No, Venu.
Baso? No?
Negative.
Okay. Are you following?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So the system integration testing is if your system is integrated with any other legacy system. If your system is integrated with any other legacy system, your legacy system in the sense the data source where we need to get it from the different kinds of system. I told you on the day, SAP ecosystem is your legacy system. Oracle Finance is your legacy system, or Dynamics 365 is your legacy system. All these systems are transactional databases, right? So from all these transactional databases, we need to get this data. The data flow is from legacy system into Anaplan. In between, we would be having a ETL connector, correct?
Yeah.
That's what we
Yes.
discussed on the day, right?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
what is happening in the SIT, the system integration testing, if a system is integrated with any other legacy system, user will check. Here, user in the sense the stakeholder. The stakeholder will check whether the proper information is flowing from the legacy system to Anaplan system. So all this system, the end user will be having their transactional database. That is SAP ecosystem. Let's say all this is my transactional database. Okay. Transactional data. Now, so all this data is stored in your SAP ecosystem. Right? Now from this SAP ecosystem too, we need to get this entire information into our Anaplan. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Now we need to get all this information into our Anaplan system. Now what we did here is we just collected this information from the legacy system to Anaplan system. Now the question is the end user will check each and every data from the legacy system and with respect to our Anaplan system. Is there any difference is into this data of Anaplan and the legacy system? Whatever the data which the legacy system is having, the same data flowing is happening into this Anaplan system or not? Right? So here the testing will be taking place on data level, the overall data level, especially in the transactional data level. All these numbers are exactly matching or not as part of this integration, because why they keep on testing on very emphasis on this particular SAT. So the transactional data is keep on changing, right? Every minute and every 1 hour, every 2 hours, this transactional data is keep on changing. And whatever the changes will be made in this transactional data, the same thing will be reflected into Anaplan system, right?
Yes.
That is the way where we need to bring the data from transactional database to OLAP database. Correct. In between, we are having a ETL connector. So everything is exactly matching or not. That's the way where the people are keep on testing about this transactional data. And this is your part of system integration testing. The name itself integration. The integration to legacy system to Anaplan system. As part of this integration, everything is accurately, the data flow is accurately coming or not. Let's say what's happening sometimes, let's say if our SAP ecosystem as part of, let's say take an example of DMart, due to some technical glitches or server down problems, the DMart people, where the people are unable to enter the details on their SAP ecosystem. Let's say there is an internet issue. Because of that internet issue, the customers are getting this bill. So instead of getting this computerized bill, they just get the manual bill. Correct? You got my point? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, Venu.
See, I'm giving an example. Let's say you went to the DMart. So you are purchasing some kind of groceries. Now at this point, at some once you reach to billing counter, unfortunately there is a server down. There is internet issue, right? You need to get this bill. So usually you need to get the bill on computer generated bill, the invoice bill, right? But due to some technical error, you are unable to get this invoice, where you will be getting this manual bill. Manual bill in the sense, think in biller perspective, think in the cashier perspective. They are unable to enter the transaction on their system, correct? Because there is an internet issue. Because of that internet issue, the cashier will not able to enter their all these transactions on their system. If they are not able to enter all these transactions on their system, how the SAP ecosystem will know these many transactions have been failed due to some internet issue? The system does not understand, right? The SAP ecosystem does not understand what are the transactions which the cashier has been entered.
Yeah.
Right? So at the
Yes.
same time, see, you created the job where the job is collecting all the information from the SAP ecosystem to Anaplan system. That is part of your integration. But as per your legacy system does not loaded any transaction data due to some technical issue, right? But the next hour you are getting the same information from the legacy system to Anaplan, right? No, actually, actual data would be 10,000. But the same 10,000 is not loaded into legacy system. Why? Because there is a server issue. So whatever the data which was there in the previous, the same data again loaded into Anaplan. So that the data, the end user have to check whether all this transactional data is exactly flowing from legacy system to Anaplan or not. So that is taking place in SIT. Is it clear?
Yeah.
All of you. System integration testing. Why the people are keep on testing as part of this integration? Because there might be a possibility of chances where your SAP ecosystem or your legacy system does not having the all entries due to some technical issues. So you need to check all these issues as part of this system integration testing. Okay.
Yeah.
And just keeping 1 minute time. I will give you 1 minute time. Do you have any questions? Please ask.
Venu, I have a question. When
Yeah,
you
please.
said that, there is a manual billing that has
Yes.
happening. So for example, if I have a total amount of 10,000 and a manual billing is about 2,000. So
Sure.
my Anaplan content should actually have like example as 12,000, right? So it is only
Absolutely.
having, so when I'm actually telling that, 12,000 was there and my SAP ecosystem is only showing 10,000. So the 2,000
Yes.
is the gap of manual billing you're telling, right?
Yes, right. So
Okay.
the 2,000 billing, see, at the same time, because of the server issue, we missed the 2,000 transactions, right? The 2,000 number we missed. So at the same time, whenever the issue is happening, the rest of the 2,000 manual billing, they need to send a mail. These are the transactions which we are unable to load into the SAP ecosystem. Please load all these transactions manually.
Okay, but the client is expecting it to be 12,000. So the
Yes,
gap
the
between
client
that.
itself. Yes, the client itself will share this 2,000 because there is an issue. The issue is from client side. It's not from our side. The issue is from client side. We need to tell them. So our source is the legacy system. So if your source is having 12,000, our Anaplan is having 10,000, and there is an issue with our side. Correct?
Yeah.
So if the source is having 10,000 and our Anaplan system is also having 10,000, so they need to check each and every numbers are matching exactly with the legacy system to Anaplan system. The 2,000 is missing. The 2,000 is missing from the client side. The client did not update all these 2,000 transactions into legacy system. Why they did not enter these 2,000 transactions? Because there is a server issue. Because of that issue, the client is unable to upload it. So the client itself says that because we are having a server issue, because of that issue, we are unable to load these 2000 transactions into the SAP ecosystem. So please add these 2000 transactions into your Anaplan. So you can manually upload or manually import these 2000 transactions. In such a way, they will send a mail with the .csv file. So these all are the transactions which you missed out into uploading this transactional system, that is legacy system or legacy system of for Anaplan.
Okay, clear. Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
Any questions about testing? Is that clear?
Yes, Venu.
Yes.
Now, let's say now I completed to all the activities as part of the sprint one and validating either in terms of functional or in terms of technical. Once my validation is done, I just train the user about these features where we built in Anaplan. Right? Once the training is completed, we just follow the testing. The testing is user acceptance testing or system integration testing. And this testing phase just check all this information is accurately getting or not. Right? Now, so once complete this sprint one, we started to build on sprint two. And the same steps are going to be repeating for each and every sprint. Right? Now, once you, after completion of this sprint, after completion of this testing, you will have to release this sprint to customer. And this sprint will be, that sprint releasing will be different company to company. It will be different. It will be different. Okay. And this release management will be happening based on this company. So some companies, but sometimes what happens in the real time. So they will collect all these 10 sprints. They will collect all these 10 sprints and do only one testing. You got my point, what I'm trying to say? They will collect all these 10 sprints. For all these 10 sprints, they will do only one testing. The one testing would be either functional testing or technical testing. And they will go for only one user training. And they will go for only one system integration testing and one user acceptance testing. Once collect all these sprints. You got my point of what I'm trying to say?
Can you come
Clear.
again, Venu?
Let's say we are having 10 sprints. Today, I told you 100 activities has been divided into 10 sprints, right? So we
Yes.
build all these 10 sprints.
Mhm.
Okay, sometimes what happens in the real times, the client is asking us, don't queue sprint wise. We want to get this total sprints at one time. We want to get the delivery total sprints at one time.
Okay.
Okay. They needs to get the total after. They needs to get the total 10 sprints at one time and at a time. So they the end user will do the testing for all 10 sprints at one go. For all 10 sprints, for all this, see, this is entire one straight line, right? These all are the 10 sprints. For all these 10 sprints, they will go one testing. The testing mode is either they will go for functional testing or technical testing. And once they complete this functional and technical testing for all these 10 sprints at one time, and they will go and update this user training. Right? Once they will do the user training, they will go for this SAT and UAT and job done. And they did this testing for all these 10 sprints at one time, at one go. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, this is one type of mechanism, and some other companies are required the sprint wise. So we need to get this sprint one. So after completion of this sprint one, we just follow this testing, right? And after testing, they will go for the release for this sprint one. They will release this production environment. They will deploy this sprint one. They will deliver this user. They will deliver this client. They will deliver this sprint one to their clients. So that means they're dividing the activities and assigning them into sprint wise and deploy this sprint one. Then they will do all these user acceptance testing and SAT and all these activities. They'll follow under this sprint one. Once complete this sprint one, and they will go for sprint two. And again, they will go for the testing and user training, and they will release this sprint two as well. Right? So now see the difference here. if you let's say the first step is they will collect all these 10 sprints and will go for at a time one testing. Right? This is the old methodology. This is the traditional methodology where we follow the under waterfall method. So basically what I'm trying to say, in waterfall technique, they will collect all the 10 sprints and the testing will be taking place in only one time. So in
Yeah.
waterfall methodology, the testing will be taking place in only one time. That is that one time also, that one time would be after completion of all these 10 sprints, right? Let's say there is a major drawback on this waterfall technique. Let's say you are you have been completed 10 sprints, right? So now you are delivering or you are releasing all these 10 sprints at one go. So where the end user will interact with this at one time of these 10 sprints and they are starting testing, right? So basically, if you are building this sprint one, there is a thumb rule in organization users. If you want to complete this sprint one, so usually the minimum time period is 2 weeks and the maximum time period is 4 weeks. That is the thumb rule for each and every organizational users. Do you follow me? So if you want to complete the sprint one requirements, you will take minimum 2 weeks and the maximum is 4 weeks. Now, assuming that you are under waterfall methodology, which is a traditional way, right? Now to complete these 10 sprints, what would be the minimum time? How many weeks will take to complete this entire 10 sprints? For each sprint will be taking minimum 2 weeks. How many weeks will take to complete this 10 sprints?
20 weeks.
20 weeks, right? Now,
Yeah.
if you completed the sprint one first 2 weeks, now there is a bug in the sprint one, right?
Hmm.
So to
Mhm.
fix this, when will you know about this bug? Once you started this testing, right? When will you do this testing? After completion of 10 sprints. Now,
Yeah.
there is a time delay of to fix this bug, right? So after completion of this 10 sprints, the user have to wait to fix this bug.
Yeah.
Yes or
Yeah.
no? Because there is an issue with the sprint one. So you are doing this testing after completion of all these 10 sprints. By the time you have to wait to fix this bug in the sprint one,
Yes.
right? If your testing is taking place on after completion of all these 10 sprints, you are doing the testing, there might be a delay of there might be a chances of delaying the work, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Right? And this kind of methodology, if you are following, that is going to be your waterfall methodology. Under waterfall methodology, what's happening under this waterfall methodology? So they will release all sprints at one go, and the testing will be taking place on one time. The drawback of this waterfall is, in case if there is any bug in the sprint one or sprint Y, then user have to wait after completion of all these 10 sprints. Correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
So this is the major drawback of waterfall methodology. Do you have any questions on this waterfall methodology? I'm just giving you 2 minutes time. Do you have any questions on this waterfall methodology? Or do you understanding about this waterfall methodology? Understand or don't understand?
It's clear, sir.
Chandu?
Clear.
Got it, Vin.
Okay, not sure. So under waterfall methodology, what the people are doing, they will collect all the sprints and release all the sprints at one go. And the testing is also done on the one time, right? So the drawback
Yes.
of this waterfall is if there is any bug will be happening in the sprint one, then the fixation of this bug will be after completion of this total 10 sprints, right? By the time the user have to wait. So that is your waterfall methodology drawback and the waterfall method. Now let's come to agile methodology. So in agile methodology, it's a very flexible to user. Once sprint one is completed, then you start testing. Once sprint two is completed, you will start the testing. In case if there any bugs are there, then you can fix at this point of time only. No need to wait until completion of this all these 10 sprints. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So
So when you
basically,
basic differences of testing only, right? That
yes,
in
absolutely. The basic difference is testing only. The waterfall method and agile methodology, the basic difference is testing.
Testing only.
So your agile methodology will be providing testing each and
Okay.
every sprint level. Whereas
Okay.
your waterfall methodology will not provide the testing on sprint level. So it
Okay.
will be giving the total sprints level, it will be providing the testing. Whereas agile methodology will be giving the testing on sprint level. Each and every sprint, they will have a chance to test if the data is coming accurately or not. If there is any bugs are there. So if there is a bug, then you can fix at this point of time only. No need to wait until completion of this 10 sprints of no, you will not wait for some time. You just
Yeah.
if there is a bug, you just resolve that point of time only. Okay.
Yeah.
So Anaplan is a agile methodology process. So that is the reason your level 2 curriculum has been designed in sprint phases. Sprint 1, sprint 2, and sprint 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions on it? So we discussed something about today we discussed something about waterfall methodology and agile methodology. I can say just simply agile methodology is the testing will be taking place on every sprint, whereas for waterfall methodology, it will not possible to test the each and every sprint level. So that is the basic difference of waterfall methodology and agile methodology, right? So the background information of this particular agile methodology and waterfall methodology, how we are creating these sprints, why we are creating these sprints, right? For that, to create these sprints, we need to conduct some sessions with the end user, that is workshop sessions, where you need to collect all the requirements, and all these requirements should be divided into sprint basis on the prioritization. Correct?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any questions?